For years, people have argued about where black wealth really lives in America. Atlanta usually wins the conversation. Sometimes New York, occasionally Los Angeles or Houston. Almost nobody says North Carolina. There hasn't been much noise around it, but wealth has been accumulating steadily. Black success here wasn't centered on individuals alone. It was supported by banking power in Charlotte, long-standing financial institutions in Durham, and a growing presence in tech and healthcare that rarely draws public attention. This isn't the South people think they know. This is something different. This is the new Black Mecca. And at the very top of it all sits a man whose wealth is so far ahead of everyone else that the conversation almost ends when his name comes up. But before we get there, you need to understand how this ecosystem was built. North Carolina has advantages most people overlook. Charlotte became one of the largest banking hubs in the country, housing institutions that move enormous amounts of capital every single day. Decisions made in those buildings affect businesses across the entire Southeast. Durham carried forward the legacy of Black Wall Street in a practical way, not as a history lesson, but as a living financial ecosystem. Banks, insurance companies, and investment institutions that survived eras designed to destroy them. The Research Triangle created a direct pipeline between education and equity. Universities didn't just produce degrees, they fed talent into biotech firms, software companies, and research-backed startups. All of this created stability, and stability is where real wealth grows. And once you're in a place like that, leaving starts to feel like the risk. Julius Peppers grew up in North Carolina and never treated it as a place he needed to escape. On the football field, he was dominant for nearly 2 decades. His NFL career brought in more than $160 million in salary alone, placing him among the highest paid defensive players of his era. That money gave him options. What he did with those options is the story. What separates Peppers from many athletes is what came next. Most players lose momentum the moment the contracts stop. Peppers treated retirement as the start of a second career. Instead of letting his money drift into lifestyle inflation, he concentrated it. Commercial real estate, long-term partnerships, investments tied to the Carolinas, not faraway markets he didn't understand as well. That approach allowed him to stay involved in regional development and long-term projects that continue generating value well beyond his playing days. He maintained a professional relationship with the Carolina Panthers after retirement, transitioning from player to advisor and business contributor. That move kept him connected to ownership-level conversations rather than limiting him to ceremonial roles. His community work followed the same logic. Education initiatives, disaster relief, and regional development weren't about public image. They were about reinforcing the environment he lived in. Today, his net worth sits comfortably above $60 million. More importantly, it's diversified and durable. Peppers represents a kind of wealth that doesn't disappear when the spotlight moves on. Fayetteville was never supposed to be a cultural center. J. Cole made it one by refusing to disconnect from it. In an industry where success usually means leaving home behind, Cole did something riskier. Instead of building his entire career around industry approval, he focused on ownership. Dreamville Records became a platform rather than a vanity label. It launched careers, retained rights, and created leverage. The Dreamville Festival took that even further. Each year, tens of thousands of people travel to North Carolina for the event, generating massive economic activity for hotels, restaurants, transportation services, and local workers. That kind of impact goes far beyond music. Cole also structured his brand partnerships carefully, favoring long-term value over quick checks. He invested quietly, aligned himself with appreciating assets, and even connected his wealth to professional sports ownership. His estimated net worth sits between $60 and $80 million, but the real achievement is what he proved. You don't need to leave home to scale globally. You need to make home valuable. And just to be clear, this isn't a music story. Cole just makes the shift easier to see. Some of the largest checks written in North Carolina go to people most audiences never see: healthcare executives. Running a major healthcare system involves land development, research funding, political influence, and employment for tens of thousands of people. One black healthcare system CEO based in Charlotte sits at the center of all of that. According to public executive compensation filings, his total annual compensation recently exceeded $25 million, placing him among the highest paid executives in the healthcare industry. Under his leadership, the organization expanded nationally, partnered with universities to establish medical schools, and helped turn entire sections of Charlotte into healthcare and research districts, where hospitals, medical schools, and research facilities now anchor the city's economy for decades. Hospitals often determine where innovation districts rise, where housing follows, and where long-term jobs cluster. This form of wealth isn't flashy, but it is deeply embedded, and embedded wealth lasts. Chris Paul earned close to $400 million during his NBA career. That alone would have secured his future. For many players, financial thinking slows down after the final contract. For Paul, it became more deliberate. Instead of stopping there, he treated basketball income as capital to deploy. He invested in early-stage technology companies, food innovation, media production, and sports ownership opportunities. His experience as a players' union leader gave him a deep understanding of how revenue flows through professional sports. That knowledge translated directly into smarter financial decisions off the court. Even as his investments span multiple industries, his roots remain connected to North Carolina. Education programs, community initiatives, and ownership stakes reflect a long-term commitment rather than symbolic gestures. With a net worth estimated around $160 million, Paul represents a modern evolution of athlete wealth. His approach reflects a shift from earning money to directing it, making his wealth harder to disrupt and easier to grow. And the most unsettling part is that most people will never know his name, even though his decisions shape entire cities. One of the most powerful black men in North Carolina is rarely discussed outside business circles. He leads a Fortune 500 company headquartered in the state, confirmed through SEC disclosures and public filings. As CEO, he oversees hundreds of thousands of employees, manages billions in annual revenue, and influences supply chains that stretch across the country. His compensation exceeds $20 million annually, supported by substantial equity holdings. This kind of power doesn't depend on popularity. It operates through systems, contracts, and long-term strategy. In North Carolina, that kind of leadership confirms something important. Black influence here is structural, not symbolic. Long before modern venture capital, Durham built its own financial blueprint. Black-owned banks, insurance firms, and real estate companies created a closed-loop economy that financed homes, businesses, and education for generations. Those institutions survived segregation, economic crashes, and deliberate attempts at erasure. They still exist today. While there may not be a single billionaire attached to this legacy, the collective wealth generated through these institutions has created more stability and upward mobility than any individual celebrity ever could. Without that foundation, none of this works. Without Durham, the ecosystem collapses. Up to now, everything we've talked about fits together. Then there's Michael Jordan, same logic, completely different scale. Michael is not just the richest black man in North Carolina. He is one of the most financially successful athletes in history, raised in Wilmington, cemented at Chapel Hill, perfected on the global stage. But basketball was only the entry point. Jordan's defining move came in 2010 when he purchased the Charlotte Bobcats for roughly $275 million. At the time, the decision was questioned. The franchise struggled and the economy was uncertain. Jordan didn't rush. He waited. NBA franchise valuations surged. Media rights deals exploded. Team values multiplied. In 2023, he sold his majority stake for approximately $3 billion. That single transaction ranks among the greatest investment returns in sports history. Beyond the team sale, the Jordan brand continues to generate billions in revenue each year, delivering hundreds of millions in royalties annually. Add motorsports ownership, private investments, and large-scale philanthropy, and Jordan becomes something larger than a celebrity. He becomes an institution. With an estimated net worth around $3.5 billion, his financial legacy is already secure. And importantly, his connection to North Carolina never faded. What this all reveals: North Carolina didn't become the new Black Mecca by accident. It happened because black wealth here learned discipline, learned ownership, learned how to build systems instead of moments. From banking towers in Charlotte to institutional legacies in Durham, from music-driven economic engines to billion-dollar exits in professional sports, the pattern is consistent. This state rewards people who think long-term. Michael Jordan stands at the top, but he stands on decades of preparation, infrastructure, and strategic restraint. And the next black billionaire from North Carolina is probably already building quietly, long before anyone notices. Now, I want to hear your perspective. Who do you think will be the next black billionaire to emerge from North Carolina? Will it come from technology, healthcare, real estate, sports, or an industry most people aren't watching yet? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this breakdown valuable, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future deep dives like this one. See you next time.